In this video, we will go through the first things that you should do after you've arrived to Finland for your studies. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. If this is the first time we're meeting, my name is Oliver and I'm a master's student in economics at Aalto University in Finland. And on this channel we talk about education and early career development, specifically here in Finland. So if you're new here, do consider subscribing. Before we jump into today's topic, let me thank Aalto University for also sponsoring this video. I've done both my bachelor's and master's degrees at Aalto University, and I really cannot recommend enough that you apply to Aalto in the next application period. More information about studying at Aalto through the links in the description box below. So let's jump right into the first thing that you should do right after arriving to Finland, and that is if you for some reason haven't enrolled as an attending student at your university by the time that you arrive in Finland, make sure to do that immediately after your arrival. Not only will enrolling just barely before the start of this semester slow the start of your studies, but also by failing to enroll by the given deadline, which is normally during the first week of semester, you will forfeit your right to study at the university. So make sure to get this done right away. Next up, make sure to get a local SIM card. This is good to take care of right away because getting access to internet and being able to call and text, for example, your tutor, will make your life quite a bit easier. If you are an exchange student, you should buy a prepaid SIM card. Since you're staying in Finland only for a semester or maybe two, Finnish mobile operators might actually not even sell you a full subscription, and thus a prepaid SIM card is your best bet. You can buy a prepaid card from multiple kiosks and grocery stores, and while walking around the city, keep an eye out for any of these places: R-kiosks, K-markets, and for example, Alepas. Each of them sell prepaid cards, and you can most often find them at the cashier. The most popular prepaid cards are provided by Saunalahti and Telia, so you can ask for one of them. However, if you are coming to Finland to do a full multi-year degree, you should opt for a mobile subscription. So to buy a subscription, visit one of the mobile operator stores that are located in basically every shopping center in Finland. I recommend that you look for shops from either Telia, which usually look like this, or from Elisa, again, which look like this. When you visit one of these shops, make sure to have with you your passport and just to make sure your admission letter from your university as a proof of your permanent stay in Finland. If the operator declines to sell you a subscription because you don't yet have a Finnish personal ID code, make sure to complete the next upcoming two steps that I'm going to go through in just a second. However, before you get a subscription, make sure to check out any potential student discounts that these companies provide. For this, you can use the Frank Students mobile app that I've mentioned in some of my previous videos. After you have a local SIM card, you can start using your 4G or 5G connections, which makes finding the places for the next steps somewhat easier. So the next thing to do, if you are a European Union or European Economic Area citizen, is to register your right of residence. This must be done within 3 months of the day of your arrival to Finland, and as I've mentioned in a previous video, the application can be submitted online, but the registration process itself also requires a personal visit at the Finnish Immigration Service point. When your right of residence is registered, your personal information will be recorded and you will receive a Finnish personal identity code. Do note that it is advisable that you book the appointment beforehand, preferably before the end of the summer, because September is a very busy time and there might not be any time slots available. Do note that many of the following steps in this video will require you to have a Finnish personal ID code, and postponing the registration will also postpone those steps as well. If you are a citizen of another Nordic country, you do not need to register for a residence permit, but you must register in the Finnish Population Information System at the Digital and Population Data Services Agency, and you must personally visit their agency offices to do this. You will receive your Finnish personal ID code this way. By the way, links to all of the agencies and their guides are in the description box below. If you are a non-EU or EEA citizen, you do not need to do either of these steps, as your information has already been registered as a part of your student residence permit process. Alright, so the next step applies to all students who are staying in Finland for more than a year, regardless of your nationality. This step is to register your permanent municipality of residence by registering at the Digital and Population Data Services Agency in the municipality you live in. So this is a mandatory step, and it enables you, for example, the rights to use student discounts for public transportation and the rights to use municipal health care services. Registering your municipality requires you to have a permanent address in Finland. So once you have the address, fill in the application form in advance and visit one of the DVV offices in your municipality. Again, link to the form and to more detailed instructions are in the description box below. So do note that if you have not received your Finnish personal ID when applying for a residence permit or when registering your EU residence in Finland, you will receive the ID code at the latest when registering your municipality. Also, note for any exchange students who are in Finland for less than a year, you do not need to register in your municipality as you are not in the country on a permanent basis. However, if you haven't received your Finnish personal ID code with your residence permit application, you can apply for it at the DVV. Okay, so the next step after registering your municipality is to get yourself a public transportation ticket with a student discount. Again, please note that you can only register for a student discounted public transit ticket once you have been assigned a municipality of residence, so make sure to do these things in the right order. So depending on your city, the way you register for a student discounted public transit ticket will vary, but as a rule of thumb, first you need to visit your university learning services office to get a travel card application form filled by the school, after which you need to visit the local public transit service point to register your student status. If you live in Helsinki, you do this by visiting one of the service points of Helsinki Regional Transport Authority, or HSL in short. After you have done this, you will receive a personal travel card that looks something like this, that has been registered with your personal student ID, so that every time you update the card with a season ticket, you will automatically be granted a student discount. This process has to be repeated every academic year so that the local transit company can verify that you are an active student. Again, if you are an exchange student, you do not need to register your municipality of residence, but rather you can go directly to your university learning services office to get the travel card application form. So this next step only applies to exchange students and international joint master's program students. So while you do not need to register your municipality of residence, you do need to make a notification of move within 1 week of your arrival in Finland. This is done by filling out a form available at the Digital and Population Data Services Agency or at a post office. So do note that if you do register your municipality of residence at the DVV, for example, to get a personal ID code, it is most convenient to fill out the notification of move form at the same time. Okay, so moving further down the list, the next thing to do is to open a bank account. So getting a Finnish bank account has countless of benefits if you intend to stay in Finland for a longer period of time, but it is important to know that after the 2008 financial crisis, the European Union has created more strict regulations for banks in all EU countries, and some of these regulations have made it more difficult for international students to open a bank account, especially if you are coming from outside the European Union and if you are only intending to stay in Finland for a short period of time. However, if you are staying in Finland for a longer period, for example, for the duration of an entire degree, you should be able to open a bank account and get full online banking services. Do note that each bank in Finland has their own practices and procedures to opening a new account, and it is recommended to make an appointment at the bank in advance in order to ask which documents they require you to take with. However, no matter what additional documents they ask for, you will always need a Finnish personal ID code, so make sure to get that before contacting the bank. There are a bunch of different banks that operate in Finland, but the largest ones are Osuuspankki, or OP in short, Nordea, Danske Bank, and Aktia. Moving forwards, the next thing to do is to order a university library card. This, I would say, is not the most crucial step to do right away, but it is still good to get done before the start of your first lectures. Do note that each university has their own procedures for applying and receiving a library card, so please make sure to check out the university website for more information. If you, for some reason, cannot find this information, you can always ask for help from your personal tutor during orientation week. Talking about orientation, next up, remember to follow the instructions provided by your university on the orientation week. Taking part in the orientation week is, if not mandatory, still very important and highly recommended for you to not only get started with your studies, but also getting to know other students and the Finnish student culture. Finally, after you have done all of the previous steps, you can relax and start getting to know your city just a bit better. Since you have an internet connection with your phone, you can start looking for places of interest that you should visit. And since you already have bought a public transit ticket, you can easily move around town for an affordable price. Remember that studying in Finland should not mean that you sit in the library alone all day, but rather you should take as much in about the country as possible. And the best way to do this is by just starting to explore either on your own or with your fellow students. Also, do remember to be proactive and ask your tutor for advice on best places to visit. And perhaps if he or she would want to join you as a local guide so that you can get the most out of your first experiences in Finland. Alright, that was it. These were the 10 most important things that you need to do right after arriving to Finland. If you found this video helpful, do give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might also be moving to Finland. If you have anything to ask about this or any other topic related to studying or building your early career in Finland, write them down in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.